God is dead. God remains dead. And we have killed him. Wait, what? Why should anyone say something like that? How can God possibly be dead, and why should anyone try to kill him? The renowned philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche left a remarkable impact on the world of philosophy with his provocative ideas and insights. Among his many thought-provoking statements, one stands out above all: God is dead. But what did he really mean by that? The only thing I can promise you is that the true meaning will probably surprise you more than you think. In today's video, we will once and for all uncover the mysteries of the most controversial philosopher of all time. We'll explore 3 thought-provoking interpretations of his words, and by the end of this video, we'll reveal the shocking truth that is unknown to most people. So stay until the end with us, so we can unravel these fascinating secrets together. But to truly grasp his ideas, let's first take a look at his unique life story. It all starts way back in the 19th century in the little town of Röcken, Germany. On October 15th, 1844, a philosopher was born. Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche emerged into a world that would be forever shaped by his thoughts and ideas. Starting at a young age, he exhibited exceptional intellect and a keen interest in literature and music. He excelled in school and was known for his unique way of thinking. Nietzsche grew up in a religious household. His father was the local priest, and the early influence of Christianity played a significant role in shaping his later philosophical works. His father's death when Nietzsche was just 5 years old had a profound impact on him, and he became deeply connected to his mother and sister throughout his life. He pursued studies in philology at various universities throughout Germany. Later on, he settled down in Switzerland, becoming the youngest ever professor at the University of Basel at the tender age of 24. It was during this time that he encountered the works of Arthur Schopenhauer and Richard Wagner, both of whom would significantly influence his early philosophical thinking. Nietzsche's health became a constant concern, and in 1870, at the age of just 26, he resigned from his position as a professor at the university. Over the next decade, he led a nomadic life, traveling through Europe in search of a climate that suited his delicate health. This period of wandering marked a prolific phase in his writing, producing major works like Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Beyond Good and Evil, and The Genealogy of Morals. By witnessing poverty, social injustice, and people's selfishness all over Europe, Nietzsche's philosophy began to take a more individualistic turn. But as with many great minds, Nietzsche's life was not without personal struggles. The philosopher grappled with deteriorating health, culminating in a mental breakdown. He spent the last years of his life under the care of his sister, Elisabeth Forster Nietzsche. His mental decline marked the end of an era, leaving behind a legacy that continued to shape the philosophical landscape. Friedrich Nietzsche died on August 25, 1900, in Weimar, Germany. While he experienced limited recognition during his lifetime, his ideas gained prominence in the 20th century, influencing existentialist thinkers, psychologists, and literary figures. Today, Nietzsche is considered one of the most important and controversial figures in Western philosophy, known for his critiques of traditional morality and exploration of the complexities of the human psyche. His critiques of religion and morality challenged the status quo, earning him both admiration and criticism. To fully grasp the significance of Nietzsche's quote, it is crucial to understand the historical and philosophical context in which it emerged. During the 19th century, Europe was undergoing significant social, cultural, and intellectual transformations. Traditional religious beliefs were being challenged, and the rise of scientific thought and rationalism posed a threat to long-held religious convictions. The before almighty Christian churches saw themselves slowly but surely losing their power due to an ethical change in society. Nietzsche's quote, "God is dead," encapsulates this shifting intellectual landscape. It signifies the decline of traditional religious authority and the erosion of belief in an all-powerful, transcendent deity. Nietzsche saw this as an opportunity to reassess the foundations of morality, truth, and meaning in a world increasingly detached from religious dogma. Before unveiling what he really meant with his words, let's have a look at 3 different interpretations of his famous quote. 1. Metaphysical interpretation. One interpretation of Nietzsche's quote is the metaphysical perspective. In this view, God is dead, signifies the death of the traditional concept of God as an all-knowing, all-powerful being. Nietzsche argues that the decline of religious belief leaves a void, a gap in our understanding of the universe and our place within it. This void challenges us to create new values and meaning in a world devoid of divine guidance. 2. Psychological interpretation. From a psychological standpoint, Nietzsche's quote can be understood as a commentary on the psychological impact of the death of God. Religion has long provided individuals with a sense of purpose, comfort, and moral guidance. The death of God, according to Nietzsche, leaves individuals grappling with a profound existential crisis, forcing them to confront the harsh realities of a godless world. 3. Cultural interpretation. Another interpretation of Nietzsche's quote is from a cultural perspective. Nietzsche argues that the death of God signifies the decline of religious authority and the erosion of traditional values. This decline opens up the possibility of a cultural renaissance, where individuals are free to question and challenge existing norms. In fact, the true meaning of this statement is a combination of all three interpretations. The phrase does not necessarily convey a literal belief in the death of a deity. Instead, Nietzsche used it metaphorically to express a profound shift in Western culture by renouncing the concept of a god. He argued that the traditional understanding of God as the foundation of morality and meaning had lost its significance for many people. The death of God symbolized the abandonment of absolute, transcendent values and the emergence of a world where individuals had to create their own meanings. It marked a departure from reliance on religious authority and an invitation to explore new possibilities in philosophy and culture. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. How can we console ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? What was the holiest and mightiest of all that the world has yet owned has bled to death under our knives. His dramatic assertion that God is dead is not, as it's often taken to be, some kind of celebratory statement. Despite his reservations about Christianity, Nietzsche thinks that the end of belief is nothing to cheer about. In his opinion, religious beliefs were quite beneficial for the average person, regardless of their actual validity. Religion often helps us cope with the problems of life, because, in the end, what is a human without a purpose? Why live a life without any meaning? For centuries, religion has provided us with a sense of purpose in our existence. But now that God is dead, and we have killed him, there is a huge existential gap left that has to be filled. Nietzsche's solution to this problem was to break free from any societal norms and find one's own purpose. So, instead of relying on an almighty divine power, every person had to create their own meaning and ethical values. The so-called Ubermensch was born. The concept of the Ubermensch, often translated as the overman or superman, is a central and controversial idea in the philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche. The Ubermensch represents an individual who transcends conventional notions of morality and values, rising above the limitations imposed by society, tradition, and religious doctrines. He conceived the Ubermensch as the next stage in human evolution, a being who creates their own values in a world where traditional sources of authority have collapsed. The idea is intricately linked to Nietzsche's critique of traditional morality, especially the imposed ideas of Christianity. The prevailing moral codes limit human potential, urging individuals to break free from these constraints and create their own values based on their unique experiences and perspectives. The Ubermensch is characterized by qualities such as individualism, creativity, strength, and a willingness to embrace the challenges of life. Rather than adhering to fixed moral standards, the Ubermensch engages in a continual process of self-overcoming, rejecting the slave morality imposed by faith. The key is to become an individual thinker, instead of just being a brainless part of a flock. Since this is quite a controversial topic, I would really like to hear your thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments below. Furthermore, if you comply with today's lessons, I would really appreciate a like and a free subscription to this channel. And until next time, stay mindful and keep improving your mind.